This video is about models of multicultural education, and it will help you to complete your week 4 assignment, and chapter 6 will help you with that as well. First, some background is that on page 145 in your text, which is part of chapter 6, it's explained that there are two main types of multicultural education, the first being experience-based and the second being theory-based. First, I'm going to explain the experience-based, which can be found in your text on pages 146 to 153. It was developed by James Banks through an analysis of existing experiences derived from classroom practices. And he stated in 2006 that multiculturalism is an idea and a process based on the premise that all students, despite their backgrounds, should have equal educational opportunities. He created a level of integration model. I'm going to start from the bottom with my explanation. First, he coined the contributions approach, which means that topics are taught about ethnic groups and they're added to the regular curriculum. The additive approach states that it's the first step of transformation of the curriculum towards a more multicultural approach, and teachers select an ethnic topic and then plan activities around it. The transformation approach becomes a little more complicated, in which teachers are reconstructing the curriculum on the assumption that the content should address targeted situations involving social justice areas that children may be able to relate to and explore. And they would look at these issues from a variety of perspectives. The highest level of the integration model is about decision-making and social action, and it adds components that require the students to make decisions and take actions related to a concept, issue, or problem that they have studied. In this slide, I'm going to go through an example of each section of the model, and I think this will really help you with your week 4 assignment. So first, the contribution approach. An example of this would be if students are exposed to a biography of Rosa Parks and told about how she was told about how she has impacted the treatment of students of color. The second approach, the additive approach, an example would be that students are exposed to the biography of Rosa Parks as well as other African Americans that impacted history in order to discover a theme surrounding the topic. An example of the transformative approach would be that students can consider how students in an all-white school may have felt at the time to be a student of color or to have a student of color in their class. And students will also discuss how Rosa Parks may have felt in that classroom setting. By examining different perspectives, students are participating in the transformative approach. The last approach coined by Banks and the highest level of integration is the social action approach. And an example of this would be to prepare the children for the ability to analyze social situations and participate in social change. And when this approach is used, the students are becoming decision makers. And after reading about Rosa Parks, students may be asked to provide examples of what social interactions would have been like for her and what they could have done to help her integrate into her new school if they were there with her. Students could also discuss examples of racism that still occur and what they can do to prevent it. Next is the theory-based approach, which was developed by Christine Sleater and Carl Grant. It's on pages 154 to 163 in your text. And it's based on specific approaches or theories, and they're all structured around diversity issues. So their first idea is about teaching the exceptional and the culturally different, which would mean that you're providing the child with necessary skills to join the mainstream social structure of the United States, and teachers adapt instruction to the student's skill level and learning styles. An example of this approach would be bilingual kindergarten programs, Title I programs, or other programs for at-risk children. The second level of the theory-based ideas is the human relations model, and it's focused on the idea of fostering positive human relations. An example of this would be lessons promoting differences or structured group work to foster positive partner experiences. The third theory-based idea is single group studies, in which a particular group of or element of diversity is the central focus of a lesson, and students are exposed to the realities of a specific group, and it will result, hopefully, in the reduction of social stratification. And there's a list of topics that match this model on page 159 in your text. Fourth is multicultural education, and it's a focus on multiculturalism. It's also similar to Banks's transformative approach, where students analyze social issues involving bias, prejudice, and racism. An example of this would be if students examine the cultural values present in the classroom and in the community, and then brainstorm ways to foster those. And the highest level of the theory-based integration model is that education is multicultural and social reconstructionist. And the goal here is to foster a belief and a sense of social equity and cultural pluralism to inspire students to become active participants in the elimination of social oppression. And this is similar to Banks's level 4, which is the social action approach. An example of this would be if teachers welcome their students' questions, ideas, and proposals for dealing with current social issues. And these are my references, and I'd like you to please let me know if there are any questions after you've listened to this, reviewed Chapter 6, and also chosen an activity for your final week 4 assignment.